And picking up from there, I would love to get Gary on this. If you want to, if you can talk about more works on when we are setting up new markets, and an NDIS is a market, and I believe the intent would go there. And what are the critical things to be worried about as we are bringing forward a diverse sector on its own? We live in our own sectors and we don't cross-pollinate as a default from decades. And how bigger it is a problem or a challenge for us to surpass in terms of the market model.
Thank you.
Give an introduction, please.
Yeah, firstly, Gary Stoneham. I'm the Director of Policy Projects at the Centre for Market Design at Melbourne University. So I'll come back to market design in a minute, but so in response to your question, Dev, when I look at, so I'm relatively new to this sector of the economy. The first thing I observe from the paper is how large and important it is to the economy. The second thing that I start thinking about when I look at that document is how does it actually allocate effort? Like, it's asking markets essentially to allocate effort rather than government identifying who deserves services and providing them themselves. So it's this question of how is that all going to work, and have we invested enough in the design of these markets to reflect the importance of these markets? So perhaps if I could just flesh that out a little bit. We see markets in the rest of the, lots of other domains of the economy. So we see commodity markets as the simplest case of markets. And they work really well, and no one sort of put them in place. They grew like weeds, okay? And they get weeded out if they don't do what they're supposed to do. So there are strong forces there, which are choice and competition, that weed out the bad transaction processes. Now when you go to like the care economy, like NDIS for example, what we observe is that they are nothing like commodities. They are highly heterogeneous, so individual clients need personalised services. They need services of different types, locations, times. Perhaps there's a whole bunch of cultural, linguistic and other contexts in which they operate that are important. And on the other side of the market, we have providers who also have different skills, location, timing, etc. So bringing these two together, you cannot borrow from the commodity markets in terms of design. They just do not work. When you match these highly heterogeneous two sides of the market together, they thin out. So that once you've got to the bottom of that, what does this person need in terms of service, you might have one or two maybe providers that just match up. So this is a massive problem that needs to be resolved. And so in that context, you don't have strong competition because you've got thin markets. So that's not a strong driving force that weeds out the bad practices. So fortunately, the good news is that there's a set of ideas out there which economists, some economists now understand. And in fact, if you look at the Nobel Prizes in economics, a majority of those, in microeconomics anyway, collectively give you the tools needed to design those markets. And the paper doesn't actually access those ideas. That's my main comment on the paper.
Thank you.